Okay, welcome back to the second part of this video on break-even analysis, data tables, Goalseek, and the scenario manager. We've done the data tables, the model, and the Goalseek, and now we're going to focus on the break-even formula and the scenario manager. Break-even formulas always end up saying that the total amount of money coming in is the same as the total amount of money going out. So that's what we're going to look for, how to make that happen. Now, usually in a break-even formula, the variable you're talking about changing is how much of a product you make. In this case, it's the number of days the person works. So in our model here, X will be the number of days, although in your model, it'll probably be the number of units that are made of a product. Total money in has to equal total money out. What's that look like for us? Well, the total money in is how many days I work, remember I'm calling that X, times the 8 hours per day that I work, times the hourly wage. That calculation will tell me the total amount of money that's coming in. How much money is going out? Well, I have to pay my $1,100 of fixed monthly expenses, but for every day that I work, I also have $6 worth of expenses that we saw, so there's my total money out. Total in has to equal total out. You'll notice that I didn't simplify the arithmetic here, and the reason is because I want to keep track of where these numbers are coming from. All I need to do with this equation now is to solve it for X. So I'll get all the X terms on the left-hand side, like that. Notice that I've subtracted 6X from both sides. And now to find the coefficient, the value of X, I just divide by its coefficient, getting this equation. X is 1100 divided by the quantity, 8 times 12.5 minus 6. Once again, the reason I didn't simplify this is because I want to see what cells these came from. I'm taking this value divided by this times this minus that. And that's exactly the formula that I'm going to enter into this break-even formula square. Let's do it. Equals that cell divided by the quantity, that times that minus that. It's just that easy. And this should give me the break-even quantity. And here we'll notice that I made a typo in the last class. It says $11.7, which is obviously the wrong unit. It should be in days, so let's just put it as a general format. But this says 11.702. This says 10.702. If you go back to the previous video, you'll see that it actually did come out to be 11.702, but I read it wrong and typed it wrong. So we'll fix it now. Okay? These two numbers should match if you've done it correctly. But now if I change any of the input numbers, I should find out that this one works as well. For example, suppose I get a raise to get a $15 wage. My break-even point's now supposed to be 9.64 days, just under 9.65 days. With these numbers, if I change my number of days to 9.65, I ought to just about break even. And you can see I do. I end up making 10 cents. Okay? So you can check your model in that way. This is the formula that we wanted for break even. I'm going to get rid of this work where I showed you the work that I did kind of on my scratch paper. Alright, that leaves us with the scenario manager. Scenario manager allows you to change the value of a number of different input values and to report the values of the resulting output values that interest you. Before you get started on this, you probably want to name any cells that refer to input values or output variables you're going to mess with. In this problem, I'm going to demonstrate by messing with these three here. So I'm going to give names to those three cells in this way. Number of days of work per month. I'll click on that cell, and then up here in the name box, I'll give it a name. I'll call it days underscore work. Okay? It has to be one word, but underscores are fine. Hours of work per day. I'll click on that cell and call it hours per day. HRPERDAY. Notice that capitalization can help you read it more easily too. Hourly wage. I can call it HR underscore wage. Okay. I also have a couple of outputs I'm interested in. I'm interested in what's my disposable income going to be. That's this cell. So I'll type the name DISP underscore INC, disposable income. I'm also going to be interested in my break-even point that's obtained by my formula here. But just to demonstrate what happens when you don't name things, right now I won't give it a name. Let's go ahead and use the scenario manager. Under What If Analysis, choose Scenario Manager, and I'm going to add a scenario. Give it a name. Let's say that the first situation that comes up is they cut our wages, so we have to end up working 12-hour days. How does that affect us? I'll call it long hours, bad wage. Okay, I could call it whatever I wanted. What cells am I going to be changing in this model? I'm going to be changing these three inputs. Now I know that I'm not changing the one input here in this particular scenario, but I'm going to list everything that I might change, which are those three. I'll say OK, and it'll say what are their new values. Well, it's still 21, but I'm working 12 hours days for only, let's say, a wage of $10 per hour. OK. I'll add a second scenario. In this one, I get a raise, and so because of that, I'm working less hours per month. Let's say that my hourly wage, I'll say, live in large. Okay. So again, I'm changing those same three cells. Now my day's work, I'm going to go down to 15 because my wage has become 20 bucks an hour. Okay. And I'm still working 8-hour days. Okay. We'll do one more. I'll add one more scenario. And let's say in this one that we keep our same wage, wouldn't have to, but that we the only difference is we decide to work every day. Work all the time. Okay? I'm going to change the first cell to be all 31 days in my month, but the other two I'll leave alone. My hourly wage was originally $12.50, so that's where I'm going to put it here. All right. There they are. Okay. Now, in order to be able to get my report, I'm going to hit this summary button. Okay. And it's going to ask me, do you want the scenario summary? Yeah, I do. And it'll ask you what result cells you want. Okay. Be specific here about which ones you are interested in. The answers I'm interested in, I said, were my disposable income, that one, and also my break-even formula, that one. Those were the only two outputs that I was asking for. So make sure you select the ones that you want. When you do that, say OK. And it generates a report like this. Notice that all of the changing cells for the three scenarios are listed here. Here are the names of the scenarios. Okay, long hours, live in large, work all the time. And for each one, here's how much money I make for the one, and my break-even point with number 2, with number 3. Because I did not give the break-even point a name, notice it just said cell B17. This is a great way to lose points on your assignment, okay? You always want to make sure that you name things appropriately. So that's all that you should be seeing if you do the scenario manager correctly, and your final report should end up looking something like this, with your graph cleaned up and put someplace where I can see it. That's it, gang. I hope this helps you do your assignment a little more easily, and I wish you a good weekend. I will see you in class. Bye-bye.